The summer slump is a crock of shh. Look at this. I'm going to have, I don't even know how much this is, maybe 15 or 20 examples of some of the largest sales that we had in June, which everyone's talking about the summer slump. Anthony, Dragon Ball's spiraling down. Masters is dead, Anthony. Why are we buying those booster boxes? I thought Masters was gone. Nobody cares about this anymore, right? In summer, historically in sales, you see this dip. I don't know if we're seeing that right now. I don't think we are. We're still seeing massive cards with still a ton more room to grow, still put up some crazy numbers. So I want to take us through this. And I'm not talking about just PSA. BGS, Black Labels, Tag, as you can see, is doing some crazy things right now too. So we're going to go through these, look at some of these June numbers. Kind of interesting. We have July rolling around this month, coming up right here. We're living in it. Happy 4th of July for those of you that just celebrated. And it's 250, baby. 250 years. And when we look at these numbers, I really want you to put something in perspective. This is when, historically speaking, for sales across all mediums, across all realms, all verticals, all businesses are typically down. Why? Because people are usually traveling. I'm going abroad. I'm going to the beach. I'm going here. I'm spending time with my family. They're not making money the way they do. They're actually spending more so. This is the time I want to do my renovations. This is the time that my wife and I got some time to ourselves. The kids are going to camp, so now we want to go do X, Y, and Z. Whatever the scenario is. But if we're able to excel in June and July, which June, I'm going to give you all of my of why it is. But if you're able to excel in the slumps, what do you think you're going to do in the peaks? What do you think you're going to do in August, September, October, November? Historical crazy months, right? So use this as a little bit of perspective that if I'm able to crush it in June, hopefully crush it in July, that it's just north from here, baby. Dragon Ball's here. Because I talked about it before. What are we getting? Mangas. We're getting Galactic Patrol, the TV show. I'm going to talk about this in another video, but House Story Booster, it's going to take over manga. I think Story Booster is going to be a bigger set than manga. And I love manga. I'm all in on manga. I'm buying manga, but let me guess. Let me spoil something for you. Story Time, I think, is going to do better. And I'll tell you why. Because of that TV series. And I think Galactic Patrol is going to really push a lot of people to say, wow, love the animation. I love seeing this again. It reminds me of watching the Saiyan saga, of watching the Namek saga, of watching the Cell saga, of Boo, and really bringing people back into it. So I think we got a lot of things to help project us forward. And this is really good information. Shut up, Anthony. Let's talk about this. All right. First one up, June 12th. Best offer, $2,000 for a 2-star leader Gogeta. Probably the coolest card in FBO 9. FBO 9 is a historical set. Absolutely many reasons why. But one of the biggest ones is having so many of those damn 2-stars, right? So when we look at this for a 2,000 for Tag, listen, I've graded a couple cards with Tag recently. I'm in the midst of an experiment now where if I'm getting 9.5s in BGS, maybe if I cross-grade them to Tag, will they get 10s? So stay tuned for that because we'll talk about that when that's done. But Tag's pretty gnarly, I gotta say. I'm holding them in my hand, especially for a 982. I mean, we're knocking on the door of a pristine 10. This is actually pretty clean copy. So $2,000 is actually pretty interesting. Now you can see here there's two. It's likely a failed sale and then one right after that. But this was a pretty good one. This was good for Tag. Good for them. I hope they get their stuff together. They open up some more stuff. Those lower grades. This is an interesting one. Yo. Who's this? really what you're doing here when you buy this card for 1,200 bucks, a gold, by the way, Fighting the Red Ribbon Army, manga, gold. Now it's their Gem Mint 10. Presumably they've only graded 125,000 plus cards. Still pretty cool sale. I would absolutely buy this. I would absolutely crack this open. I think this was just an interesting sale, so I wanted to call it out. It was an auction for $12.79. I think it's still a good sale. At least you got an opinion of someone other than your eyes to tell you that this is in pretty okay condition. This was more of a small little call out, not a big win. Check this out. Another good tag one. Pristine, $9.90. That number, Anthony, what do you mean $9.90? It might be hard to see, but inside of that tiny little, let me see if I can zoom this sucker in for you. It won't. It'll only do the background, of course. Inside, you see they're pristine. This is like the black label. Definitely not equivalent yet. Maybe one day. I'm a black label kind of guy. But tag will give that a score out of 1,000. That means out of 1,000 points, or a score system that they give them, this one rated 990. This comes up to their elite pristine marker. That means this copy is so absolutely clean. Someday someone will do this. I probably will, never will. You should probably theoretically crack open a pristine and get a black label. That's how good this card is. That's what they're telling me. That's how I envision this. But this was a great sale. I think it was a little under. Considering it's a pristine, it's a gold manga. It's the original art. We're talking Saiyans on planet Earth. Raditz obviously died. Nappa died to the hands of Vegeta. And now, hey, I'm ready to go. And he's got the... We're doing it, baby. This is a good one. This is good for tag. Good for us. Black Label City, baby. Check out this Black Label energy marker 46 from pretty damn good set, Manga SBO1. I think they should bring back his power pole. I think that would be imagine beating up Jiren and you had a power pole. Bam. And right in the gut shot, right? Never saw that coming. Black Label, a 10, 10, 10, 10. $5,500. That's a good sale. That's no slump, big guy. That's a surge. Shout out to Surge, 1990s. Great soda. RIP to one of the goats. Not sure what happened there. Another Black Label. This one's a really interesting one. This is a 2-star, but Japanese. Now, historically, when you look at TCGs, let's just pick on Pokemon. Mr. Pikachu in the room. Mr. Charizard with the butt. When you look at Pokemon cards, you see the Japanese, and then you see the English. There's obviously, French, German, Chinese, very popular. But when you look at the Japanese versus the English, typically the Japanese is below the price of English. There's some exceptions, right? If they never made an English variant, if it's an exclusive to something. But broadly, when a set comes out, Japanese is beneath English when it comes to the market value. So to see a Japanese 2-star Goku from FBO1 Black Label going for 45, it's kind of good for the market. That's kind of interesting. That is not a slump. That is a surge. That's going up. There is absolutely a market for Japanese. There's absolutely a market for these Black Labels. I think this is a really good sale. This is a 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. So for 45, that's good. I don't think that's best offer. This guy was probably asking more. I think 45 is a fair price. Let's move on. Manga. This is going to look really different. When does Story come out? August? I think it's August. August, September? I forget. When Story Time comes out and we start doing these, I think you're going to be seeing a lot more Story Times. A lot more of those cards in here. And I think they might overtake these mangas. And again, I'm going to talk about that in another video. But anyways, Black Star. Black Label manga SBO2 Bulma. Bulma and Kid Goku. Energy marker. Number. What was it? 70? I can't see. I'm really old. My eyes. I think that's 70. This sold for 45. This sold at the same price of another Black Label in a different language for an older set. SBO1's not really a set that's like investors or flippers, collector shirts, technically the first one out. But so to see this price point is kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. Does that mean mangas, I'm going to talk about it, kind of taking a hit? Either way, 45 is good. Pop 1. That's kind of crazy. Let's keep on going. The Black Label train. Anthony, you just looked up all the Black Labels. Well, those are the biggest sales. Son Goku FBO1. Still talking about the first release of Awaken Pulse. Black Label, 10 across the board. This is actually a pretty cool card. It's the SCR. It's the 1-star. Art's great. I think the art can be better, but one thing that a lot of people forget about is the background. Tien, Piccolo, Vegeta, Krillin, Yamcha, we're all jumping in on this guy. Taking his J's. We're picking his pockets. His dad and his son, Family Kamehameha. The original Family Kamehameha, I guess. This was sold $2,500. Straight up. No offer, no auction. This is what I want. Pop 25. That's a great sale. That's a good one. A super popular one. Black Label Sun Gohan. This is from FBO3 Raging Roar. What's interesting, we just talked about this yesterday. You bought this for like $70. Imagine you pulled this guy. TCG has an human error, glitch, whatever you want to call it. I purchased this. I rip it because I'm a ripper. And I pull this guy and I Black Label. You just turned $75 into $2,300. You pay $125 for Express 5-day, you're still on top. And this is just an iconic shot. I wish that they had this sort of aura with him. Obviously, he's got Beast. He's got his Beast mode, Gohan Beast. Something about this uniform. Something about this suit. He's just ripping it. A great sale. Middle of June. We're in a slump, Anthony. No one's buying. Yeah, okay. Black Label energy marker. This is a silver energy marker. Mind you, a silver energy marker. Now, Black Label is great. 82. This is right out of the manga. Riding his bike. Why would I ride a bike when I can fly? I digress. 1,800. Auction, pop 1. I have this in a BGS 10, and it's so hard to price cards. And I think I think there's more now, but there's not a lot of sales. And it's interesting to see Black Label sale before some of the 10s, because generally when you have a 10 and then you try to sell your Black Label, it's kind of tough. You're kind of guessing the market a little bit. I have a general rule of thumb: 2.5 to 3.5, depending on the card, depending on the what's going on. This is also, Anthony. Is that an M? No. So to see this sale happen tells me potentially you could sell your BGS 10, I don't know, $600, $700, $800 maybe. It's kind of interesting. We're in a slump, Anthony. You just don't see it. $11,000. DC Sports. I've done some consignments with them. I like them. Check this out. From manga, numero 1 for you non-Spanish speakers. Namek, Super Saiyan Goku. You just kill. Let's go through this. Piccolo's gone. You lasered Vegeta. You whooped on my son. You whooped on my son in every form. All 4 forms. Got a shot on him. And then you take my best friend that I've known arguably my entire life. Majority of it. And you threw him into the air and you made them pop like a balloon from the inside out. That's the face that you got. Super Saiyan, legendary form, legendary iconic scene. This thing's absolutely beautiful. Sold for 11,000. Now, we've had higher auctions before. Yes. To see this dead center of what should be our Summer Slump, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially for an auction. Super Alt Art. This is probably harder to pull from the manga booster box than the Goku we just looked at. Much harder. And when you look at the 10s, I just sold mine private for 6K. Probably in the last 2 weeks I sold this. In the beginning of this month, this was 52. Beginning of June, excuse me, not this month. This summer was 52. Validated around 55. I sold mine for 6K. Why? Because this is only going to go up. Do I already regret it? Absolutely. But it went to a good friend. And I know we'll do more deals in the future. SBO 1023 Super Alt Art. Green Dino. Mr. Dino Hunter himself. That's a good sale. 52. And that's just warming up the summer, baby. The jacuzzi's not even hot. Let's keep on going. Bulma! This is not as bad as some of the Bulma shots. Some of the Bulma... You know, I get a lot of DMs on Instagram. You got Bulma in the bikini. Relax, big dog. This one's not as bad. I love this Dragon Ball. This is manga SBO 2. Gold, pristine 10. Sold for 42. Best offer. Middle of the slump, right? We're slumping it. We're poor, Anthony. Cereal, Japanese, Son Goku, top prize, Asia. PSA 10. Anthony, we're in a slump. No one's buying. Auction. Pop 22. Auction. $18,000. Sometimes Japanese is considered undervalued comparative to the English. There are exceptions. Welcome to the exception. Welcome to the scenario in which an exception exists. Serialized top prize Asia Goku on golden, nonetheless. Middle of the slump, Anthony. We're in the middle of the slump. 18.3. That's a big one. Whoa! You're telling me, Anthony, that on June 2nd, it sold for $11,350 for a best offer, and then not 2 weeks later, it sold even higher in auction? I bet this guy's kicking himself in the butt for sure. Best offer, $11,350. Same exact card. But this guy's doing pretty good. That is an increase in the midst of summer slump of almost $7,000. In 2 weeks! Now, this one's also the English one. The other one, the higher one, is the Japanese one. We're in a slump. PSA 10, 11,000. Namek Goku. Legendary scene. Iconic scene. Best offer, 11,000. You're starting to see the trend, right? Energy marker E44. SBO1 manga E44. Gold. This is like peak. This is a beautiful card. Simplistic. You got Master Roshi. You want to be one of these nut jobs? I'm going to say it. But if you like X-Men, you got a little X-Men mutant right there. Xavier, the X-Men. You ever heard of them? 8,500 best offer. A couple days ago. Not a week ago. Barely. These guys are going to celebrate July 4th a way you don't understand. Last three. Look at this. Beginning of the month, 7,600. Later in the month, where are you at? 11,000. We're in a slump, Anthony. We're just going north, baby. Pack up. Get your clothes. Pack some food, because we're just going to the moon, baby. The air's thin, but your wallets are fat. Energy marker, E60, gold. The whole Z gang. We're talking about one of the best eras. This is from, based off of, obviously, the characters. We're talking between Mecha Frieza getting sliced up and the Cell games. That's when you got this real core of people. Let's just step out of the manga for a second. I know this is from SBO1, but let's just step. That era is also where you have some of the best movies, some of the best series, some of the best characters, some of the best animation. We got the Z Fighters right here. And they sold for $7,000. Auction. Right on the cusp. It's in my June numbers because technically it was after midnight. I'm still good. Check out this one. Another Ultra. Look at this. Ultra. The Ultra Alt-Art. 6,600. I sold mine for $6,000 as a BGS 10. Didn't see this one. Didn't catch that sale. But it's going up. Are we in a... do you think... When you got sales... It's fine. When you got sales like this, you think you're in a summer slump? You think things are going bad? You think you're spiraling? You think things are going okay? When you got a Shenron, BGS Shenron, PSA 10 Shenron, used to be a $300 card, not 2-3 weeks ago selling for $1,000 plus, you're not in a slump. You're behind. You're hanging around with the raw guys. You need to be in the graded house. You need to be sending things to PSA and BGS. Specifically BGS. Or tag. I'll let you know my decision on them later. We're not in a slump. This isn't a slump. Almost a $20,000 sale isn't a slump. Well, Anthony, you can go look at Ryan's Card House. They're doing $2 million auctions every week. Yeah, Pokemon's Pokemon. I'm not comparing Goku to Pikachu. This is huge for Dragon Ball. If you don't grade your cards, think you're in a summer slump, change your mentality. People are buying. They're buying up collections. They're buying up cards. Till next time, everybody. See ya.